Hi all. So in the previous session, from the 5 adjustments that we have to study in this particular chapter, we completed 2 adjustments. What are the 2 adjustments that we learned in the previous session? One is the accrued expenses, if not the past expenses not yet paid, expense payable. Other one is the accrued income. Accrued income means the past income not yet received, the income receivable ones. Today we are going to get into the next adjustment, which is the bad debt. So what is this bad debt? Very simple. Before this also, I have explained to you. We'll assume we sold some items to Mr. A and we sold it on credit basis. We sold it on credit basis. Well, we'll assume 100,000 is the credit sale amount. 100,000 is the credit sale amount. Okay. So we should receive this 100,000 from Mr. A. No? Until we receive this 100,000 from Mr. A, that particular 100,000 balance will be there inside the debtor account. He's a debtor for us, a receivable for us. Until we get this 100,000, until we get this 100,000 from Mr. A, he is a debtor for us. It is there inside the debtor. That 100,000 will be there inside the debtor. He is an asset for us. Now we'll assume Mr. A is dying, dead, gone, kalas, maruna. Can we take that 100,000 now? Cannot. We cannot take it back. Oh. So the 100,000 that now we are not being able to collect back from the debtors, we will call it as bad debt. If not, we will call it as irrecoverable debt. The debt which cannot be recovered. We cannot take it again. It's gone. Not only dead. Maybe if the bugger disappear. Huh? Bugger is running out of the country. කියන්නෙත් නැතුව රටෙන් පැනලා යනවා. Bugger is running out of the country. Okay. Bugger is running out of the country. Then if that's the case, again, I'm asking, will I be able to get that 100,000? No. Then that 100,000 is gone. So that 100,000 will not be able to recover. So what is this bad debt, lamai? Bad debt. This is the amount where we cannot bear, recover or cannot get from the credit sales customers. Credit sales customers, in other words, debtors. Debtors. Debtors lagin ganna bari vena gana. The amount where we cannot recover from the debtors, we will call it as bad debt. So this one before this also I have explained. Irrecoverable, cannot recover. So bad debt is an expense for the business. Bad debt is an expense for the business. So when there is a bad debt like this, lamai, what's the journal entry? I told you any impact should have any transaction should have 2 impacts here. One is bad debt is an expense. So bad debt is an expense. So you have to put it to the bad debt expense account. The expenses increases. From other side, now I can't take this money from the debtors. I can't take this money from the debtors. Then you think and see, should I have to increase the debtor balance or decrease the debtor balance? I had a balance of 100,000 debtor. Now I can't get that 100,000. No point of keeping that 100,000. Decrease the debtor balance. Debtor balance should decrease. Debtor asset should decrease. The debtor asset should decrease. So based on this, we can construct the double entry. Debit the bad debt account, credit the debtors account. If not, I could say increase or record the bad debt expense. So bad debt expense is coming under distribution expenses. Expenses connected with the customers. Distribution expense. And decrease the debtor asset. So this is the adjustment that we have to do when there is a bad debt. Increase or record the bad debt expense. Decrease the debtor asset. Increase or record the bad debt expense. Decrease the debtor asset. Simple as that. So now we'll jump to the note. Here I have given what I have explained to you. When a business sells goods on credit, the amount of credit receivable is called as trade debtors or trade receivable. The business sometimes may not be able to recover this amount back. We will call it as bad debt. When an organization cannot recover the money from the trade debtors due to XYZ reason, some reason, due to XYZ reason, if we cannot collect that money back from the customers, we will call it as bad. So there is a question, Lamai. Let's move to the question. So before moving to the question, better to write down this. Debit the bad debt, credit the debtor. If not, increase or record the expense, decrease the debtor asset. So what's the question? G.C.E business has sold goods on credits to Samira for rupees 8,500 on 1st August 2006. Samira died and decided to write off. 8,500 they have decided to write off. So what's the journal entry, Lamai? Question number 5. Debit the bad debt account 8,500. Credit the debtors account 8,500. Simple as that. If I prepare the T accounts, debit the bad debt account 8,500. Credit the debtors account 8,500. That's all. If not, increasing or recording the bad debt expense, decreasing the debtor. Increasing or recording the bad debt expense and decreasing the debtor. Okay. So with that, we are done with that adjustment as well. Bad debt is a very simple adjustment. Now let's move to one of the very important adjustments which is there in your syllabus. Depreciation. What is this depreciation? First of all, let me teach it. හොඳට අහගෙන ඉන්න. Yeah. What is this depreciation? We'll assume we are buying this car. Okay. This is a car. හිනා වෙන්න එපා මගේ චිත්‍රවලට. This is a car. Okay. A Lamborghini car. We are buying this car for 5 million. Okay. We are buying this car for 5 million. I am planning to use this car for 5 years. We are planning to use this car for 5 years. We'll assume we are buying it in 2015. So 2015, you are spending this 5 million and buying the car. So in 2015 only, you are spending this entire 5 million. Huh? Just because you are spending this entire 5 million in 2015, ඔය 5 million එක දඩෝම් ගාලා ගිහලා expense එකක් විදිහට 2015 වලට දාන්න නැහැ. We will not go and put the entire 5 million as an expense for 2015 directly. The reason, it is not fair to do like that. ඒක කැත වැඩ. ලස්සන නැහැ මේ වැඩේ කරන්න. Because understand ළමයි, you are planning to use the car for 5 years නේ. 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019. 5 years. So this is the first year, second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year. You are planning to use the car for 5 years. Expense is there only for 1 year. Only for 2015. Not fair නේ. එහෙම කරන එක ජරා වැඩනේ. It's like 5 people are going to eat to a restaurant and asking one person to pay the money for all 5 people. Then you think and tell me, lamai, if I want to put that expense 5 million into my accounts, what is the fair way of doing it? What is the fair way of doing it? What we can do nicely, lamai, this 5 million, we can split it over 5 years, right? That 5 million, we can split it over 5 years. 2015 එකට 1 million, 2016 එකට 1 million, 2017 එකට 1 million, 2018 එකට 1 million, 2019 එකට 1 million. That is fair. So this approach is a fair approach. So first point that you have to understand, with regarding this car purchase, we have to put an expense for the income statement, which is called depreciation. Generally, in the depreciation, what we will do, we will split the cost and put. We will split the cost. I told you we will split the cost, which is a wrong wording that I used. Now I am going to take an example like this. This car I am buying for 5 million. This car I am buying for 5 million. After using for 5 years, we are planning to get 1 million by selling the car. After you use it for 5 years, lamai, by selling the car, we are expecting to get 1 million. Now, the question that I am asking from you, for this 5-year period, are we going to use the car for entire 5 million, or are we going to use the car only for 4 million? So here, after using for 5 years, I am planning to get 1 million by selling the car. I am planning to get 1 million, or we'll assume 500,000 kilo. I am planning to get 500,000 by selling the car. එහෙනම් ළමයි මං අහන ප්‍රශ්නේ. The question that I am asking from you, during this 5-year period, am I using the car for entire 5 million, or am I using the car only for 4.5 million? I am using the car only for 4.5 million lamai, because after the usage, I am planning to sell it for 500,000. After the usage, I am planning to sell it for 500. So I am going to use it only for 4.5. Then ideally what you should have done, lamai, not like this also. This 4.5 million only we have to split over 5 years. This 4.5 million only we have to split over 5 years. Then 4.5 million divided by 5 means lamai. 4.5 million divided by 5 means every year 900,000. So 2015 900,000. 2016 900,000. 2017 900,000. 2018 900,000. 2019 900,000. So how did I find this 900,000 lamai? 4.5 million එක 5 years වලින් divide කර. I divided the 4.5 million by 5 years. Now let's take an idea about each and every value that we took in this particular calculation for us to find this 900,000. එකක් ගත්ත 5 million එක. So 5 million is the cost of the asset. After using the asset, I am planning to get 500,000. So අපි ගත්ත මේ 500,000. So for this 500,000 in accounting, we are giving a name lump. The value that we are expecting to get by selling the asset after the usage. The value that we are expecting to get by selling the asset after the usage. In accounting, we will call it as scrap value. What value? Scrap value. It's like this, no lamai. Once you buy an asset, we'll assume you are buying this phone. You are buying this phone. maybe for 1 lakh. After using this phone for 4-5 years, I will be able to sell it for maybe 20,000 or 10,000. That 20,000 or 10,000 only we will call it as scrap value. Now here, in this particular example, scrap value is 500,000. After using the car for 5 years, I am planning to sell it for 500,000 and I am expecting to get that money. Scrap value, if not there is another name, we will call it as salvage value. Salvage value කියලා කියනවා. If not, we will call it as residual value. Residual value. So these are different names that we will be using. These are different names that we will be using. Okay. So from 5 million cost, I deducted the 500,000. I got a value of 4.5 million. For this 4.5 million also there is a name, people. We will call it as depreciable value. That means how much are we going to depreciate? We are not going to depreciate the entire 5 million. We are not going to depreciate the entire 5 million. Why is that? 500,000 I can get by selling the asset after the usage. 500,000 I can get by selling the asset after the usage. So depreciate currently. We will be depreciating only 4.5 million. We will call it as depreciable value. Then what we did was, this 4.5 million, we divided it by 5 years. For these 5 years, we will call it as useful life of the asset. Useful life of the asset. Useful life. Here we got the answer 900,000. So what is this 900,000? This is the depreciation expense per annum. Depreciation expense per annum. Now from this complete calculation, people, I am going to construct a small definition for the depreciation. I am going to construct a small definition for the depreciation. අපි කොහොමද මේ 900,000 හොයාගත්තේ? How did we find this 900,000? By dividing the depreciable value from the useful life. By dividing the depreciable value from the useful life. So we will say depreciation, first one, is a systematic allocation. So we nicely split it now 4.5. Of what value? Of depreciable value. Depreciation is a systematic allocation of depreciable value over its useful life. Over its useful life. That is what depreciation is. So we constructed a small definition for depreciation. What is depreciation, lamai? Depreciation is systematic allocation. Nicely, we split it over 5 years. It's a systematic allocation of depreciable value over its useful life. Now we'll write the formula for the depreciation. ඔයා කොහොමද මේක හොයාගත්තේ? Depreciation expense equals 5 million කියන්නේ cost එක. Cost එකෙන් ඔයා අඩු කරා scrap value එක. You deducted the scrap value. Scrap value, if not salvage value, if not residual value. So what is the scrap value or salvage value or residual value? I'll write that one also. Value expecting to get by selling the asset after usage. Value expecting to get by selling the asset after usage. And this one you divided by. So this is the depreciable value, no, in other terms. In other terms, this is the depreciable value. In other terms, this is the depreciable value. This complete thing. This complete thing is depreciable value. Divided by the useful life. You divide it by the useful life. So this is a very tiny note which is there for the depreciation. So let's do certain calculations. After that, we'll come to this note. I am giving you an example like this. Cost of the asset 1.2 million. Scrap or residual value 200,000. Useful life 4 years. 4 years. Part A, I am asking you to calculate the depreciable value. Depreciable value equals cost minus scrap. නේද ළමයි? So cost is 1.2 million. Scrap is 200,000. Then depreciable value is 1 million. Second, I am asking you to calculate the depreciation per annum. Depreciation expense per annum. So 1 million only, we have to divide it for 4 years. 1 million, we are going to divide it for 4 years. Then every year depreciation is how much, lamai? 250,000. Every year depreciation is 250,000. Let's do another one more question for your understanding. Cost එක ගමු. අපි හිතමුකෝ 3 million. Scrap or the residual value ඕන එක 500,000. I am asked useful life 5 years. Or we'll make it 600,000. Useful life maybe 6 years. I am asking you to calculate the depreciation. So before finding the depreciation, you have to find the depreciable value. How to find the depreciable value? Cost minus scrap. Cost is 3 million. Scrap is 600,000. Then here we are getting a value of how much, lamai? 2.4 million. This should be divided by the useful life. Useful life, how many years? 6 years. Then how much is the depreciation for every year? 400,000. 400,000 is the depreciation expense per annum. So again, I am reminding you how to calculate the depreciation expense lamai. Depreciable value divided by the useful life. If not, cost minus scrap divided by the useful life. Cost minus scrap divided by the useful life. Cost minus scrap divided by the useful life. Simple as that. Now you write down this note quickly. This tiny note. This black area. This black area. Oh. Depreciation, systematic allocation of depreciable value over its useful life. How to calculate the depreciation expense? Depreciable value divided by the useful life. How to find the depreciable value? Cost minus the scrap value. Scrap value has another name. We'll call it as residual value or salvage value. Scrap value කියන්නේ value එක අපි expect කරන value එක. The value that we are expecting to get by selling the asset after the usage. So we'll take this laptop. This laptop. We'll assume the cost is 150,000. So I will use this laptop for maybe for 10 years. After using for 10 years, over 150,000 වලට විකුණන්න බැහැනේ ළමයෝ. You can't sell it for 150,000. Maybe we'll be able to sell it for 20,000. After using the asset for 10 years, for 20,000 only, I'm expecting to sell. At 20,000 only, we will call it as scrap. In foreign countries and all now, in Sri Lanka, this is not applicable because in Sri Lanka, vehicle prices are increasing. No? In foreign countries and all, we'll assume you are buying a car for $100,000. We'll assume. Once you use that car for 5 years, you can't even sell it. You have to give it for like this botal pattara kadi. Maybe by giving that for that botal pattara kadi, you can get like maybe $1,000, $2,000. Scrap value. The value that I am expecting to get by selling the asset after the use. Once you use the asset, පාවිච්චි කරලා හොඳට පාවිච්චි කළා You'll use the asset. After using the asset, you will sell the asset and you will get some amount. That is the scrap value. Okay. So now we'll jump to the questions. Question number 6. Machine cost is 500,000. Useful life 5 years. Scrap value 100,000. They're asking the depreciable value and the depreciation. So simple, no? We'll do it. Question 6. Depreciable value. Depreciation karana agaya. Cost minus scrap. Cost is 500. Scrap is 100. So depreciable value 400,000. We will depreciate only 400,000. Depreciation expense per annum. Cost minus scrap divided by the useful life. 500,000 minus 100,000, same thing, depreciable value. Now, how many years? 5 years. Huh? So 400,000 divided by 5 years. That means for a year, 80,000. For a year, depreciation expense is 80,000. Okay. Now let's move to the next one. Question 7 is little different. A business has purchased a machine for its production purpose and they have given the following cost. First, we have to find the cost of the machine level. So, how to find the cost of the machine? Write down this. Purchase cost, carriage inward cost of machine, purchase cost of machine, installation cost of machine. ඔක්කොම ගන්න ඕනේ. Cost of machine. So when you take addition of these three only, you'll get the total cost of the machine. Total cost of the machine. Write it up. Write it. Purchase cost of the machine, carriage inwards cost of the machine, installation cost of the machine is the total cost of the machine. Now then හිතන්න එපා මේ carriage inwards ඇවිල්ලා අර මේ stock carriage inwards කියලා. No, this is not stock car. Certain people think, carriage inwards, it's the in purchasers. No, No. That is stock. This is, I'm not talking about the stock. I'm talking about the machine. Machine's carriage index. So we'll do it question 7. Purchase cost of machine. Carriage inward cost of machine. Installation cost of machine. 200,000, 20,000, 30,000. 200,000, 20,000, 30,000. Total cost of the machine. Total cost of the machine. 250,000. 250,000. So this is the answer for the part 1. Part 2. They are asking you to find the depreciable value if the scrap is 10,000. So how to find the depreciable value? Depreciable value equals cost minus scrap nila. So cost is 250. Scrap they have given in the question 10,000. Then depreciable value is 240,000. Depreciable value is 240,000. Next one, depreciation. Using the straight line method. So I'll tell you what is the straight line method, people. Later, not now. Third one, depreciation expense per annum. Cost minus scrap, if not the depreciable value, divided by the useful life. Cost is 250,000. Scrap is 10,000 divided by 10 years. 240,000 divided by 10 years. Then here 24,000. 24,000. Depreciation per annum. P dot A means per annum. Avruddata. P dot A means per annum. Avruddakata. Okay. So now let's move to the next question now. Before moving to the next one, I want to teach you this. Listen carefully, people. I am telling you the cost of the asset, cost 100,000. Okay. Cost is 100,000. And scrap is 0. No scrap. We'll assume scrap is 0. Useful life 4 years. Then how much is the depreciation per annum, Lamai? It's 25,000. Very simple. How you will calculate depreciation expense per annum equals cost minus scrap divided by the useful life, not usage life. 100,000 0 divided by 4 years. That means 100,000 divided by 4 years. So every year 25,000. Every year 25,000. So this is one way of finding the depreciation. There is another method. There is another method. What is that method? Using the depreciation percentage also we can find it. හොඳට හිතලා කියන්න ඕනේ මට. Think carefully and tell. We'll assume this is the asset. You are planning to use it for 4 years. You are planning to use it for 4 years. හරිද? That means ළමයි, as a percentage, every year how much percentage you have to depreciate. හිතමු මේක cake කෑල්ලක් කියලා. So you are going to eat this cake over 4 years. Every year how much percentage you have to eat from this particular cake? Every year how much percentage you have to eat from this particular cake? It is 1/4, if not 25%. No? 25%. So first year 125% gone. Second year another 25% gone. Third year another 25% gone. Fourth year another 25% gone. So every year 25% is gone. That is Lama if the number of years are 4 years. If the number of years are 5 years, then every year how many percent? First year 20%, second year 20%, third year 20%, fourth year 20%, fifth year 20%, altogether 100% gone. 100% we can maximum utilize 100% වලට වැඩි යන්නේ නැහැ නේ. If it is 10 years, first year 10%, second year 10%, third year 10%, fourth year 10%, fifth year 10%, sixth year 10%, seventh year 10%, eighth year 10%, ninth year 10%, 10th year 10%, all together 100% gone. 10 years. So when the number of years are 4 years, every year 25% gone. When the number of years are 5 years, every year 20% gone. When the number of years are 10 years, every year 10% gone. Then if the number of years are 2 years, first year 50%, second year 50%, or 2 years. Every year 50% gone. When the number of years are 2 years, every year 50% gone. Depreciated. Gone means depreciated. So how did I get these numbers? That's the question you have. Sir, උඹ කොහොමද මේ 25, 20, 10, 50 ගත්තේ? When the number of are 4 years, how the hell did you tell it is 25%? When the number of are 5 years, how the hell did you tell 20%? When the number of years are 10 years, how the hell did you say 10% for a year? When the number of years are 2 years, how the hell did you tell 50%? Very simple. Simple formula. 100 බෙදුවා number of years. 100 බෙදුවා number of years. You do it times 100 divided by 4, 25. 100 divided by 5, 20. 100 divided by 10, 10. 100 divided by 2, 50. Then people understand. If they give the number of years, you should be able to find the depreciation percentage. How to find depreciation percentage if the number of years are provided. How to find the depreciation percentage if the number of years are provided? Very simple. 100 divided by the number of years. 100 divided by the number of years. So here again, let's come from the beginning. Let's do it from the beginning. If they say 4 years, how to find the percentage? 100 බෙදීම 4, 25. If they say 5 years, how to find the percentage? 100 බෙදීම 5, 20. If they say 10 years, how to find the percentage? 100 බෙදීම 10, 10%. If they say 2 years, how to find the percentage? 100 බෙදීම 2, 50%. Now for this particular my question, then I am asking you to find the depreciation percentage lamai. Number of years are 4 years. Then as a percentage, how much is that? 100 divided by 4, that means every year 25%. Now I am going to teach you. Now I am going to teach you another way of calculating the depreciation. So what is the first way that I taught you? Cost minus scrap divided by the useful life. This method that I taught you, cost minus scrap divided by the useful life. Now I am going to teach you another method to get the same answer. To get the same answer, a different method. කොහොමද ඒක? හොඳට බලා ගන්න. හොඳට බලා ගන්න. හරිද? Depreciation expense per annum equal cost minus scrap not divided by the useful life, entire thing into depreciation percentage. Shall we apply and see my figures? Cost is 100,000. Scrap is 0. Depreciation percentage we found 25%. Then here 100,000 minus 0 is 100,000 into 25%. You are getting the same answer, 25,000. 25,000, 25,000. Then lamai, to find the depreciation, there are how many methods? 2 methods. Amatak karanne epa. Depreciation expense per annum equal cost minus scrap divided by the useful life. Use this method if they give the number of years. Use this method if they give the number of years. Or depreciation expense per annum equal cost minus scrap into the depreciation percentage. Use this method if they give the percentage. Use this method if they give the percentage. ලියා ගන්න මේක. Write it down. Use this formula if they give number of years. Use this formula if they give depreciation percentage. If they give depreciation percentage. Right now. So both the methods will give you the same answer. Both the methods will give you the same answer. No difference. Oh. Now move to the next question. You see what they have given. බලන්න මේ question එකේ මොකක්ද දීලා තියෙන්නේ කියලා ළමයා. They have given the percentage. Then first formula or the second formula. පළවෙනි එකද දෙවෙනි එකද? Cost minus scrap divided by useful life the cost minus scrap entire thing into the percentage. Here we have to use the second one. So first they're asking us to calculate the cost of the motor vehicle. So let's calculate the cost. You try that question, Lama. Try that question. Okay. So let's do this question. First, they're asking us to find the cost of the motor vehicle. So two items are there. One is the purchase cost, other one is the carriage inward cost. Question number 8. Purchase cost of motor vehicle, carriage inward cost of motor vehicle. Purchase cost 800,000, carriage inwards 20,000. 800,000, 20,000. Then total cost of motor vehicle 820,000. That is the answer for the first one. No? Second one, depreciable value, scrap value they have given 70,000. So depreciable value cost minus scrap ni lamai. So cost is 820, scrap is 70. Scrap is 70. That means depreciable value 750. Third one, they are asking the depreciation. So here we have to use the percentage method. Depreciation expense per annum, cost minus scrap into the percentage. So cost take a 820, scrap take a 70 into the percentage 10. 10%. Then 750 into 10%. 75,000. Then 75,000 is the depreciation expense per annum. Depreciation expense per annum 75,000. Depreciation expense per annum 75,000. Okay. Now let's do the question number 9. The accounting period of Vatsala business ends on 31st December 20XX. The non-current of the business is depreciated using the straight line method over 10 years. So when we use an asset lamai, the value of that asset should reduce. No? So that's why we are depreciating it. Asset පාවිච්චි කරන්න ඕකේ value එක අඩු වෙනවා. That's why we are depreciating it. Business has something called accumulated depreciation. I'll teach you what is this accumulated depreciation. The non-current asset is purchased on 1st January. And the below information is given: motor vehicle and machinery and equipment. So listen, people. On the other. So we'll take the motor vehicle. Motor vehicle. The cost of the motor vehicle, they have given 800,000. And they have not given a scrap value. Okay. So I'm going to find the depreciation of motor vehicle. Cost minus scrap divided by the useful life. So cost is there 800,000. No scrap, 0. 10 years. That means 800,000 divided by 10. Every year depreciation is 80,000. Every year depreciation is how much? 80,000. Now listen carefully. Yeah? Listen carefully. Now when you take the first year, year 1, the cost of the motor vehicle is 800,000 ළමයි. පළවෙනි අවුරුද්දේ ඕක depreciate කරනවා 80,000. That means we'll reduce the value 80,000. That means end of the first year value of the motor vehicle is only 720,000. End of the first year value of the motor vehicle is only 720. Now let's move to the second year. Cost take 800. Now only not only 1 year, 2 years depreciation karla. First year depreciation 80,000. Second year depreciation 80,000. You have done the depreciation for 2 years. That means 160,000 you have depreciated. Then end of the second year, ඔයාගාව තියෙන motor vehicle එකේ value එක කීයද? The value of the motor vehicle is 640. We'll assume third year. The cost of the motor vehicle is 800,000. Now 3 years you have depreciated. First year's 80,000, second year's 80,000, third year's 80,000. In total 240,000 depreciated. Then what is the value of the motor vehicle? 240,000 give 560,000. Now let's take the end of the fourth year. Cost of the motor vehicle is 800,000. First year 80,000, second year 80,000, third year 80,000, fourth year 80,000. Now 4 years you have depreciated. That means 320,000 you have depreciated. Then end of the fourth year value of the motor vehicle is 480,000. So first thing that I want to tell you, ළමයි, look at this. Every year depreciation is same, right? Every year depreciation is same, not changing. Every year depreciation is same, not changing. This is what, ළමයි, we will call it as straight line method. Under the straight line method of depreciation, හැම අවුරුද්දම කරන depreciation එක සමානයි. The depreciation that you are doing every year is the same amount. So can you write this note somewhere, ළමයි? Can you write this note somewhere? Maybe over here. Under the straight line method of depreciation every year depreciation value is same. Under the straight line method of depreciation, every year depreciation value is same. Under the straight line method of depreciation, every year depreciation value is same. Under the straight line method of depreciation, every year depreciation value is same or not change, same value. Okay. Now listen carefully, Lamai. Everyone listen carefully. So when there is a depreciation, what's happening, Lamai? You can see over here. Every year value of the asset is decreasing, right? Every year value of the asset is decreasing. Because when you use the asset again and again and again, the value will decrease. No, that's the nature. So what's the journal entry for this? What's the journal entry? One is Lamai, depreciation is an expense. I told you, always there should be two things. Two sides are there. Depreciation is an expense. So because of this depreciation, value of the non-current asset also should decrease. Value of the asset also should decrease. අපි හිතමුකෝ අපි motor vehicle එක තමයි depreciate කරන්නේ. Then the journal entry would be lamai. Debit the motor vehicle depreciation expense account 80,000. Motor vehicle value එක decrease වෙන්න ඕනේ. Credit the motor vehicle account 80,000. So here I recorded the expense. Here I reduced the non-current asset. මෙන්න මෙයාව මෙහෙම කරන්නේ නැහැ. I told you always there are two sides here. When you are doing the accounts, always there are two sides. Because of the depreciation also, two impacts are there. One is it is creating an expense. Other one is it is reducing the non-current asset. Always two impacts. Impact දෙකක් කොහොමත් තියෙනවා. Okay. Always there are two impacts in accounts. Without two impacts, accounts is not there. That's why we learn double entries, ne lamai. If not, we could have learned single entries. No? Huh? Did we learn single entries? No. We learn double entries for everything. Why we learn double entries, lamai? Because every transaction will have two impacts. Two impacts. So what are the two impacts created because of this transaction? One is depreciation is an expense. That is one impact. So motor vehicle depreciation expense account $80,000. So here recording or increasing the expense. I told you two impacts. Other one, non-current asset value should get reduced. Asset එක value එක බහින්න ඕනේ. Reduction of non-current asset 80,000. So that reduction of non-current asset එක ළමයි අපි ගෙනියලා motor vehicle account එක අස්සට දාන්නේ නැහැ. We will not put it inside the motor vehicle account. We will show it separate. You take drawings. Drawings තියෙනවනේ ළමයි drawings. Drawings will increase the equity capital or decrease the equity capital. Drawings will decrease the equity capital. එහෙම කියලා drawings එක අපි ගිහිල්ලා capital එක අස්සේ දාන්නේ නැහැනේ. We will not go and put the drawings inside the capital account. We will show the capital account separately, drawings account separate. Likewise, depreciation also same lump. Reduction of the asset value, we will not put inside that account. We will show it separately. There is a name for that. We'll call it as accumulated depreciation of motor vehicle account. So accumulated depreciation of motor vehicle account කියන්නේ ළමයි reduction of non-current asset. Okay. It's a reduction of non-current asset. Do not forget. So what are the two impacts? One is depreciation expense. Other one is reduction of non-current asset. Again, tell me, what are the two impacts? Depreciation expense, reduction of non-current asset. Depreciation expense, reduction of non-current asset. Depreciation expense, reduction of non-current asset. One impact is depreciation expense. Other impact is reduction of non-current asset. So reduction of non-current asset, we are showing it in a separate account called accumulated depreciation. Accumulated depreciation එකේ තමයි පෙන්නන්නේ. Okay. So the journal entry would be debit, increase of the expense. No? Expenses increases debit, asset decreases credit. Asset decreases credit. Write down. ලියාගන්නකො මේක. Then we'll do the next one also for your better understanding purpose. Question number 9. Question number 9. Huh? And they're asking us to prepare the T accounts also. No? Prepare the T accounts also. Lam. Motor vehicle depreciation expense account. Motor vehicle accumulated depreciation account. So here debit 80,000. Here credit 80,000. This is recording the expense. This is recording the expense. This is reduction of non-current asset. Reduction of non-current asset. Reduction. Reduction of non-current asset. So we'll do it for the machine and equipments also. Machine and equipment. Depreciation. Cost minus scrap divided by the useful life. Cost is 250. Scrap is 0. Useful life 10 years. Then 250,000 divided by 10 years. It is 25,000. So what are the two journal entries? Again, tell me. Record the expense, reduce the non-current asset. Record the expense, reduce the non-current asset. So what is the expense? Machine and equipment depreciation expense. 25,000. This is recording the expense. Other one is reduce the non-current asset. Machine and equipment. Reduce the non-current asset QA, accumulated depreciation. 25,000. So here we are recording the expense. Here we are reducing the non-current asset. Debit the expense, credit the accumulated depreciation. Debit the depreciation expense, credit the accumulated depreciation. Equipment, somehow depreciation expense. Here machine and equipment accumulated depreciation. Record expense debit, accumulated depreciation credit. Expense debit, accumulated depreciation credit. Expense debit, accumulated depreciation credit. Okay. So if I'm giving you a quick recap of what we did up to now today, we didn't study actually much. Big thing today. One is the bad debt. Bad debt, what's the entry that I told you? Bad debt is an expense. So bad debt, expense, debit, and reduce the debtors. Debtors, credit. That's all. Then we learn the depreciation. Depreciation, to find it, there are two methods. One is cost minus scrap divided by the useful life. Other one is cost minus scrap into the percentage. Either method, find the depreciation, the double entries. Depreciation expense එක record करा debit. Accumulated depreciation reduction of non-current asset. Accumulated depreciation reduction of non-current asset. Credit. This is what we studied for the entire day. Yeah? For the complete day, this is what we have studied. Bad debt is an expense. Bad debt expense debit. Reduce the debtors. Two impacts. Always I told. One is the expense debited. Reduction of the asset. Credit. Other one, depreciation. Where is it? Record the depreciation expense. Reduce the non-current asset. So I am asking you a question like this. Accumulated depreciation is an asset or liability or equity or income or expense. Not depreciation. Depreciation is an expense. Depreciation is an expense. Accumulated depreciation එක asset, the liability, the equity, the income, the expense. Accumulated depreciation is an asset reduction. So you will put cash into the asset bucket too. You will put the stock into the asset bucket. Likewise, you will put the sales into the income bucket. You will put the capital into the equity bucket. You will put the bank loan inside the liability bucket. Likewise, depreciation expense, you will put it inside the expense bucket. Capital, you will put it inside the equity bucket. Drawings also, you will put it under the equity bucket, but it will reduce the equity. Yeah, drawings. Drawings is not expense. Drawings is not expense bucket. Drawings is equity bucket reduction. Likewise, accumulated depreciation. Depreciation expense is expense bucket. Accumulated depreciation, asset bucket, but reduction of asset bucket. That's it for that. Bye bye.